our lives are not our own. From womb to tomb, we are bound to others.
In the 2012 sci-fi odyssey Cloud Atlas, characters are scattered across time and space. They don't share the same names, faces, or even centuries. And yet something connects them. Not genetics or reincarnation, but choices. Small, fleeting, sometimes seemingly insignificant choices. With this tapestry of interwoven lives, the film dares to ask a question that is both profound and terrifying. What if our lives, and every choice we make, don't just matter now, but always have and always will?
These forces that often remake time and space, that can shape and alter who we imagine ourselves to be, begin long before we are born and continue after we perish.
Cloud Atlas weaves together 6 seemingly separate narratives, spanning from the 19th century to a post-apocalyptic future. On the surface, each story follows a different protagonist. A young notary crossing the Pacific, an inspiring composer seeking greatness, a journalist uncovering a corporate conspiracy, a cranky publisher trapped in a care home, a clone rebelling against a dystopian regime, and a tribesman struggling to survive in a ruined world. But beneath these layers lies a single narrative, a narrative about how souls, choices, and consequences echo through time. As the filmmakers Tom Tykwer and the Wachowski sisters put it, Cloud Atlas is an epic story of humankind in which the actions and consequences of our lives impact one another throughout the past, the present, and the future. And I believe that it's this exact structure that serves as a metaphor for one of Friedrich Nietzsche's most haunting thought experiments, the idea of eternal recurrence.
The nature of our immortal lives is in the consequences of our words and deeds.
Imagine having to live your life, this exact life, over and over again. Every joy, every sorrow, every mistake, every triumph. Repeated endlessly, without escape. The idea is simple and yet profound. Time is not a straight line, but a circle. Every moment you experience will happen again, exactly the same, forever. Not once, but infinitely. As terrifying as this may sound, at its core lies a deep moral challenge. Are you living a life you would be willing to relive, exactly as it is, for all eternity?
In your revelation, you spoke of the consequences of an individual's life rippling throughout eternity.
Nietzsche argues that if your answer is yes, then every choice you make matters immeasurably.
That go on apportioning themselves throughout all time.
Because in a world of eternal recurrence, there are no throwaway moments. Every decision, every action, every experience echoes through eternity. But if the very thought of living your life on a loop fills you with dread, perhaps you're not living the life you were meant to. And if that's true, shouldn't that realization move you to change? To act as if every action, every choice, will return. Each moment reborn. Each decision ever present. Each life ever influential. And those are the same questions that Cloud Atlas dares to ask.
Our lives and our choices are understood moment to moment. At each point of intersection, each encounter suggests a new potential direction.
Rather than applying Nietzsche's eternal recurrence as a literal loop, where we relive the exact same life again and again, Cloud Atlas reimagines the concept. It shifts the focus from recurrence of individual lives to the recurrence of moral choices. The characters of Cloud Atlas don't live the same lives repeatedly, but they do relive the same patterns, the same struggles. Consequences echo, actions from the past return.
I will not be subjected to criminal abuse.
I will not be subjected to criminal abuse.
Not as fate, but as influence.
I will not be subjected to criminal abuse.
They shape new lives, new choices, new rebellions. And these patterns contain constants. In every story, there is the oppressor and the oppressed.
There is only one rule that binds all people. One governing principle that defines every relationship on God's green earth. The weak are meat, and the strong do eat.
But in Cloud Atlas, these constants are challenged. It is not the strong who prevail, it is the oppressed who rise. And they rise because of those who came before. The strength of each protagonist is never isolated. It's built upon the inspiration, the memory, or the consequences left behind the previous one. Each story features familiar roles. There is the villain, the rebel, the helper, the seeker of truth. The setting may change, the costumes may shift, but the core conflict remains: slavery versus freedom, greed versus love, fear versus courage. And through it all, one idea holds: the past shapes the future, not through destiny, but through example, a journal, a sextet, a manuscript, a film. Each story leaves behind a record, something that survives, something that travels forward, something that alters the next.
I understand now that boundaries between noise and sound are conventions. All boundaries are conventions, waiting to be transcended. One may transcend any convention if only one can first conceive of doing so.
And it's this ripple effect that becomes the film's heartbeat. A single act of compassion, like standing up for a slave in the 19th century, sets off a chain reaction. The hero may die, but the deed echoes. Long after the body is gone, the choice still matters. So while Nietzsche imagined the universe as a circle of time, Cloud Atlas shows us a spiral, where time loops but never in place, where we do not repeat lives, but repeat moral reckonings, each time with the chance to do better.
To be is to be perceived. And so to know thyself is only possible through the eyes of the other.
While Cloud Atlas can easily be read as a story of reincarnation, with the recurring birthmark hinting at the same soul reborn across time, I believe there is another way of seeing it. To me, the birthmark doesn't symbolize the return of the same soul. It symbolizes the return of the same influence. Each time someone makes a selfless choice, whether it's an act of kindness, bravery, or defiance, they set something in motion, a ripple, a legacy, and that legacy doesn't vanish with death. It's imprinted onto the future, picked up by someone new, in a new world, under new circumstances. And it takes the shape of a comet, imprinted on the body of the one who's being influenced, and is in turn chosen to influence further.
We must all fight, and if necessary die, to teach people the truth.
Not a reincarnation of the person, but a reincarnation of morals, of compassion, of the potential for change. In this way, Cloud Atlas speaks to something very real in our world. We may never live again, but our choices do. They echo, they inspire, they build the moral groundwork for those who come after us.
Our lives are not our own.
From womb to tomb, we are bound to others,
Past and present,
and by each crime,
and every kindness.
we birth our future.
So where Friedrich Nietzsche asks, would you be willing to live the same life, over and over again, for eternity, knowing that every choice and action would repeat forever? Cloud Atlas adds something more. If that were true, if our lives truly echoed through time, then our actions, our choices, and our experiences, they wouldn't just belong to us, they would shape the lives to come. When we try to combine the idea of eternal recurrence with the message of Cloud Atlas, we are not just offered a challenge, we are offered an invitation to live more consciously, to live as though every decision matters, because in some way, every decision has mattered, will matter, always matters. And when the world tries to diminish our efforts, when it tells us,
there is a natural order to this world, and those who try to upend it do not fare well. No matter what you do, it will never amount to anything more than a single drop in a limitless ocean.
we remind ourselves,
What is an ocean but a multitude of drops?